Today I am wearing my linked hat. This is a pattern I love. I knit this with Harrisville Design, nope, Brooklyn Tweeds Arbor yarn. It's a DK weight yarn. And I'm wearing the Ola Yoke by Ella Gordon. I knit this with Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight yarn. I'm wearing a hat because I wore a hat yesterday and my hair is crazy. Like I need to oil my scalp. I need to do a spa day. I really need a bath. I only got dressed to be here with you all today. I was frumping around in my pajamas all morning and I put on clothes to record reluctantly and I threw a hat on because that's what I wanted to wear. But my ends are dry. I feel like I'm just really worse for wear today. I've had a long weekend. It's been a fun one.
You know what? I'll just say this. Is the grocery store going to get mad at me if I complain about the carts not being returned?
Wait, what?
Like if I come on the podcast and complain about something or talk about something,
Yeah.
am I supposed to talk about no people, places, or things while I'm here?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a really good day so far. If you're new here, my name's Taylor. I come to you from Baltimore City, Maryland, and here on my YouTube channel, I feature content that is generally focused on knitting and spinning. In this week's episode of what I call the Threadsman podcast, I have a brief update on my Ooey Gooey sock knit along challenge. I am participating in Andrea Mowry's sock challenge this weekend once more, and I'm actually enjoying it this time. I think that the finished product is going to be perfect and I'm going to love them. And this is the progress I've made on one of the two. You can see that where I do the magic loop, the tension's a little off, but it will block out. And I'm knitting these nice and tight. They feel very thick between my fingers and I'm on the heel of the other. I very much enjoy, actually I've never enjoyed knitting socks, but now that I do, I very much enjoy knitting the toe and then knitting the toe and then knitting the foot and then knitting the foot and then knitting the heel and then knitting the heel. And then I will knit the calf and then the other and then the cuff and then the other. So I really like this way of knitting socks. I feel like I don't lose momentum. I like doing, because I knit a lot of garments, I like doing the same thing for a lot of time. And I feel like that allows me to do that with socks. Like I can knit a toe and then knit another toe and feel like I can move on from the toe and I don't have to think about it again. Kind of like with a sweater, a lot of the times you just do everything once. Of course, the sleeves you do twice, but still.
We have found that more than 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents. They've been kicked, dragged and detained for days. This is a White House that pops out ASMR of people in shackles and chains. We don't know if they have a criminal record or not. And then they're being sent to El Salvador to CCOT, where many of them were raped and sexually abused, all funded by the United States government. This is something the ADL and Sarah Hurwitz and all of these people that are screaming right now about anti-Semitism. This is the parallel. This type of bigotry that is actually acted upon and then torturing people is where everybody's focus should be. Mm-hmm. This is the parallel with that. What I'm really startled by are other human rights groups that are not advocating for these people and for the rule of law, and that are allowing the United States of America to be represented by these psychopaths. I mean, this is psychopathic. And then I just want to bring Stephen Miller again. Here he is. He makes no sense.
It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning, Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia.
That was pure racist propaganda to be delivered to Fox News viewers. And I just have to highlight high trust. The Republicans in this administration are delivering high trust. And I'm like, even Trump's voters know he's a big fat liar. Everything in this administration is lie, and they all know it. So I had to say the high trust thing made me laugh out loud when he's like, we are high trust. Stephen Miller, he sucks so bad. Well, he is a propagandist, and he actually cares about policy. Yeah. And his policies are diabolical, criminal, denying people due process. And he has a plan to try to break the federal government to such an extreme way that any semblance of the United States of America that we see now as being multicultural, he wants to completely annihilate. This man has said, imagine if we deported all of these people, you wouldn't have to wait at the emergency room. He wants to deport 100 million people. The best thing about the United States of America is multiculturalism. And he got bullied when he was a kid. Yeah. And it's my understanding, I've read some articles, his own family fucking hates him, and you can understand why. Right. And so again, we have these emotionally stunted, broken people suffering from a cascade of mental problems that are playing out their inner child issues in the federal government right now. And they've all found each other. And he is as dangerous as anybody in the Nazi regime, this guy.
Anyway, that's how I'm doing it. I'm really enjoying the process, and I'm enjoying it so much that I impulsively purchased 3 skeins of sock yarn, which is very contradictory to what I've been saying about wanting to knit my stash. I think knowing that it is Small Business Saturday today and I wanted to stay inspired, I just bit that bullet and did that thing, knowing that in 2026, that's when I'm not going to buy yarn, but we're not there yet. So I let myself do that as a little gift to myself. I purchased 3 skeins from Little Lion Heads. I don't know if you've ever seen her Instagram feed, but she has the most cohesive color palette that I find very enjoyable. I hope that the colors appear the same in real life as they do on my phone, but they are very bright and very cheerful, and I think that that will be really something to look forward to throughout the winter and in the spring. And I think between 3 sock skeins, there's a lot of combinations of colors that I can do. I could basically knit 3 completely different socks. I might even be able to squeak a 4th sock out of 3 skeins. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not new. I'm kind of new to this sock thing. I've knit socks, but I've never been a sock knitter. So I'm very excited to have those on their way to me. So I'm a sock girly now, and I'm really enjoying the process of knitting socks. There's so much reward with just like finishing a foot and then turning the heel. Like that is rewarding too. And then once I finish the heels, I feel like I'm just gonna be flying through the end of this knit along challenge. So I'm very optimistic that I will have lots of progress tonight and tomorrow morning on this. I plan to enter a photo into the prize challenge. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, maybe I'll win. But really, I just want to reach the accomplishment of knitting a pair of socks in a long weekend. And so I find that very enjoyable. I'm really loving the physical outcome of the challenge, not just the emotional sense of accomplishment, but knowing that I'm going to have these to wear is very exciting to me. I've mentioned in my previous video that I'm using Spin Cycles dyed in the wool. I did over dye this with black walnuts to give it a more muted color tone that I enjoy. And then I'm using a no longer in production base of yarn that I dyed black with my jacquard black dye. So I hope I rinsed this yarn well enough. I'm afraid the color could bleed, but they're just socks. So it's a pretty low stakes game over here. It really makes me kind of want, like, enjoying the sock thing, like, and knowing that, you know, there's so many things you can do with socks. I'm like, maybe I want to dye sock yarn. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm going to go down that road right now. I have so many projects going on in my life, not just in knitting, but in general. And so I don't have the time for another side quest, but I have, so much still to accomplish. I'm really excited to get back to those, but I still have other things I'm doing I want to share with you all and talk about in future weeks. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend if you're here in the US anyway. I realize not everyone celebrates that holiday and it is kind of a brutal one, but I hope you were able to enjoy your day and maybe eat some good food and see some fine friends. I'm lucky that Brian made the most amazing dinner, and we had such a fun time. I invited Mo over to knit and eat food with us, and it was so much fun.
In case you're wondering what Stephen Miller, the grossest person on earth, is thankful for on Thanksgiving, he tells us with Jesse Waters.
So what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president, and we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees, violent crime in our cities, to security in our cities, no more illegals, no more refugees, and finally a country that puts American citizens first.
I think what's so shocking to me about that video is the way Jesse Waters looks at him so adoringly.
Here's the long-ass effort post from this dipshit. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all our great citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disruptive, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other... This is Stephen Miller. 100% Stephen Miller wrote this. This is a Stephen Miller exclusive because it is identical to something you would hear from Goebbels or something you would hear from Hitler, you know, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct, and it's just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, in parentheses census, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. Yeah, no, totally. That's what's going on here. You're so right. It is all the foreign nationals that are on welfare. Yeah, certainly not like the forgotten white people that are born and bred American that are on welfare. It's just the foreigners that are not doing anything for America except, you know, picking all the crops and playing a incredibly important role in all of our agricultural output that makes sure that Americans are well fed without taking a dime out of that welfare structure anyway. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. It's just so wrong. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously R-worded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressman woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the USA illegally, in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she's treated. This is... This has 400,000 likes. I hate this shit, dude. This is... Oh. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Our president is Adolf Hitler. If Adolf Hitler was somehow even dumber than the original Adolf Hitler. Awesome. Mostly bots. Breathe, brother. I know. It doesn't matter. It's just still... It doesn't matter that it's mostly bots, okay? What matters is the president is saying this. It's just like sprinkle a little bit of racism, and in this instance, it's not even a little bit of racism. He's just maxing out on it. Like, this is one step removed from just saying the N-word. It's literally one step removed. And for many Americans, I think they need to hear that to actually come to terms with how racist this statement is. Somali people are the same as anybody else. They have the same exact class interests. They're not coming into the United States of America to look for prey. This is psychotic. Jesus Christ, dude. The post gets worse. It gets worse. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. What the f does this mean? These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. Yeah, this is a Stephen Miller rant, 100%. Donald Trump is not capable of crafting this many words.
But anyway, Thanksgiving's over. And yesterday, Brian and I, we went to Frederick, Maryland to enjoy the Friday off of work. We love going on Black Friday because it feels like, you know, it's the beginning of the holiday season and everyone's got their Christmas stuff out and it's very pretty. And we went to Voila Tea, which is my favorite tea on the planet. And on the way back from Frederick, we went to Tractor Supply. And I got four. Yeah, I know. You're right. I got 4 suet bird feeder refills, like boxes, like 10 per box. So I bought 40 suet refills for like $20 because the new promo was promoted on top of the old one. So I got to double stack the promotional price on the suet. So I bought a ton of that. We've been loving to watch the bird feeder every day. It's right. We moved it a little closer to the kitchen window now. So we're always looking out at the bird feeder, and I have a couple young woodpeckers. Of course, there's always blue jays, and more infrequently now than in the past, I've not seen a lot of cardinals. I know they're in the area, but I don't see them around as much. And there's house finches, which are in abundance here, but also much smaller breeds of finches. And that's mostly it. I haven't seen the catbirds around lately. I wonder if they migrated for winter, but they're commonly in our yard throughout the summer, very loud. And that's mostly it. But the woodpeckers have been a daily visitor to the suet blocks, so I've very much enjoyed that. Oh, we were actually in the Frederick newspaper because while we were in Voila waiting for our tea order to be filled, we were standing in the window and looking at the mugs, and someone snapped a photo of our mugs and put us in the Frederick newspaper, which was very fun. So I'm happy to informally represent my favorite tea company. If you are going to Maryland Sheep and Wool in May, I do recommend going to Frederick for the day or for lunch or dinner or whatever. It is such a cute, charming little town. Today has been very low key. I have spent my morning picking up around the house things that we got out all of our party plates and stuff for the Thanksgiving dinner that I need to like put that stuff back in the basement where it's in storage. And I also ordered a crap ton of kitty litter while it was 20% off from Petco. So I had basically ruined our FedEx delivery driver's day hauling 120 pounds of litter up my stairs. But I got that down to the basement, and I've just been picking up around the house. I have a ton of laundry to do. I'm on my second load right now of, I think, only 3. But I try to do the bedding every single week, and I'm a day and a half behind because I usually have done that by now. I try to do all the laundry during the week and not on the weekend, but these socks have just taken over my life. And the holiday was something we were very much excited to host, and so I'm behind, but I'm very excited to be here. I'm excited to have these to work on, and I'm very excited for my little small business Saturday haul from this morning online, and I can't wait to show you those skeins when they come in the mail. We'll be back to, the old school days of YouTube where people share their acquisitions. I have had, I think, fewer acquisitions than most years. Well, probably more this year than past. I've actually bought a lot of yarn this year. I have a new goal set for myself. So I think I mentioned this, but I don't know for sure. But I'm planning to spin a skein of yarn every month for the next 5 months. So December, January, February, March, and April. My goal is to spin 5 skeins of yarn in 5 months' time. And I think that that is a very easy to accomplish goal for myself while still knitting. It will be different for me though, because I don't typically spin these days. I'm never at my wheel anymore. But I want to change that. I want to continue to process my wool library, and I would love to have more new yarn to spin in future years. I think my plan is to spin fingering weight yarn, probably a 2-ply, although I might attempt a 3-ply in the future, maybe not the next 5 months, but in the future. And that's my goal. So I have in the past done a spinning challenge where I spun a skein of yarn every week. I don't know that I can accomplish that goal because I have to process the fiber to prepare it to spin. I think when I was doing the spinning challenge, I might have already pre-combed it, although I'm not sure. Either way, I have a lot of fiber. I very much want to continue spinning it, and I would like to spin down some of my stash to prepare for the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival in 5 months. So first weekend of May, if I can spin 5 skeins of yarn, then I can bring home a fleece. And that's the agreement I've made with myself. So right now I am hand combing some long staple fine wool. I think it's a Cormo crossed with a Jacob. I've had that fiber for quite a while, so I'm very excited to kind of reclaim that space in my inventory, to have a free pillowcase available for a future fleece to bring home. And then I am also carding on my drum carder the Gotland fleece I bought a couple years ago now. I paid a pretty price for that 1 pound, 3 ounces of fiber, and I think it'll make a gorgeous garment. I could probably knit a sweater from that. I think that would be the goal. So I'm carding it right now very carefully, very slowly, very methodically. I'm opening up every little lock at a time, very, like I said, carefully. This is a labor of love. I'm going to process more fiber on my hand combs than I will be on my drum carder. I just really want to take this one slow and do it really well the first pass. I'll probably have to take this fiber off my drum carder and do another batch, another bat. And then depending on how they look next to each other, I might split them up and do a second pass. Although if they look very similar in their blend in terms of shade, I'll probably just spin each of those bats as is. I have the fancy kitty drum carder, so it's a bit wide. It's not the narrow style. It has a nice wide drum, but I don't know how much fiber I can fit on it. Probably close to 4 ounces, I would guess. So I might have to do 4 bats, and I haven't decided if I'm going to process them a second time. I'm really opening up every lock as I work to be very careful with loading that drum carder with the fiber. So I think maybe for the purposes of blending the color really well, which I've not done as well in the past, I will make multiple bats and then blend those with a second pass, but I don't want to overwork the fiber and get it all knotted up. I want it to be really easy to spin. So there's that. That's in the future, and I'm slowly making progress on the Gotland processing. Hand combing is much quicker for me because I'm more comfortable doing that. I'm not as careful hand combing. I just know what I'm sort of doing already, and I comb. And anyway, I'm still trying to stay in the spinning game as much as I want to just knit everything all the time. I've been in a pattern of simply knitting in recent, you could say like the last year, I have barely spun much at all. I've talked about the one skein I have behind me here that I've spun in recent months, and most of it wasn't spun recently. I think a whole bobbin of the 2-ply I had previously spun before I even started my current job, which was in February. So I would very much like to spin again. So there's that. Oh, I got so much good feedback on last week's video. So many of you enjoyed my little clips and everything, and that makes me very happy. Thank you for watching, those of you who tuned in last week to my Make 9 for 2026. I have a lot of good patterns picked out to knit, and I've talked about so many of them so much already. That's it for this week's episode of the Threadspin podcast. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into this week's video, let me know in a comment below with the sock emoji, since I'm a sock knitter now. And I'm really loving these socks by Andrea Mowry, the Ooey Gooeys. I could see myself knitting more. I could also just see myself knitting more socks in general. So fun to do. I love the process of, I just love the toe up. I love that seamless, I just love it. It's so much fun. Yeah, I could really see myself knitting more socks. I am going to be knitting more socks. I already bought the yarn to do it. That is it for this week's episode of the Thread to Mend podcast. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me on social media, my name is TAYLOREOWEN on Ravelry and Instagram. You can find me on TikTok as Taylor Knits. I want to thank you so much for being here. I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and that you take care.